Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Oreaganic podcast. If you are new here, I'm your host, Reagan. Guys, I think I'm going to start a new segment. Not big segment, but at the start of every episode, I just want to give you guys a very small, very brief life update. Or if there's anything notable to talk about, I just want to talk about it because I recorded such a good guest episode last night, from the time of recording this. Oh my God. I haven't had a guest on the podcast yet. Haven't had a guest. I was nervous, to be honest. I am full from scratch, starting from scratch. It's not like I have an assistant or a team or anyone who knows anything about the back end of technology or editing. And no, it's not rocket science. And I'm an engineer and I can figure things out. But it was just a little scary. It was just something new. I haven't hosted anyone on the podcast yet. It was a co-founder and CEO of a very successful natural plant-based medicine brand, which is crazy. And I don't know, I'm super excited to share the episode with you guys because in the middle and after recording it, I was just so lit up by this conversation. I was so lit up by it, and I feel like it was a huge activation, not just for me and my comfort zone, but just for the face of this brand, this podcast, my impact, the community that I'm building, and just everything that has to do with all of you beautiful listeners and just everything with the Oreaganic brand. And I'm just so ecstatic to have had that conversation and to share it with you guys. I swear to God, I've been riding a high since. It was such a good time. And yes, am I a noob to hosting people? Could it have been more professionally perfect with the questions that yeah, probably. But I'm not going to drag myself because I put myself out of my comfort zone, and now I'm literally guys, I just want to scream. You guys do not understand. I'm so excited to bring on more incredible people, share these conversations with you guys and bring in freaking powerhouse women, men, entrepreneurs, so many people who I've connected with. I'm telling you, the goal for this year is at least one guest episode a month from here on out because I'm just obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it. And I feel like my personality riffs a lot better when I'm bouncing my energy off of someone else's. Not to say that you guys haven't got a taste of my personality, I would hope, by listening to however many episodes now, or maybe even just this first one. Obviously, you get the sense for someone's personality listening to them solo, but a guest episode is just oh my gosh, it's a whole nother level. It's a whole nother level. I love talking with people, communicating, yapping, the gift of gab. That is my zone of genius. Seriously. I'm very naturally tuned to be able to effectively communicate, and that's where my energy feels the most lit up. So I'm super excited to share that with you guys. It's probably coming out either next week or the week after. And overall, right now, if you're currently listening to this live, let me just give you a warning. February is, I swear to God, wiping all of us off our feet and putting us straight on our ass. I don't really care if you're not an astrology person and whatnot, but just speaking on an energetic scale, there are so many massive shifts in the collective energy and our personal energies happening this month. And if you're feeling crazy or just really overwhelmed and your life's a mess right now, or you're questioning your entire life path, just know clarity is not really supposed to be landing this month. Now is not the time for you to be writing your entire 5-year plan and having complete clarity on every single thing you want to do and taking immediate action. This month is very we're in a very big recalibration mode kind of thing. And honestly, I don't really vibe with the calendar New Year's in terms of when to start your new goals. I really, really resonate with the astrological New Year. And no, that's not because of the stars and I'm just little star girly who's a zodiac queen. No, it's because nature runs in cycles. We all know this. We all should know this. You look outside right now, if you live in the northern hemisphere, what is everything doing? It is fucking chilling. It is not currently blooming. We are in a season of rest, and it is not a coincidence, but the astrological New Year coincides with the first day of spring, which would make a lot of logical sense for us to be way more lit up and alive and active when the earth is, as well, as we are naturally biological beings attuned to the environment and the earth around us. Hello, I feel like that's pretty obvious and intuitive. So for me, how I've always been, December, January, February, the winter months are not the time where I'm going exactly feral on upheaving my entire life and creating a new life story for myself. Like, it's very much so naturally tuned to more of like the hibernation period and just chilling and appreciating like slower moments, like longer nights, more time to sleep, all those things. So just a reminder that if you feel like things are hectic right now, you're trying to figure out a bunch of stuff and you feel like nothing's landing, that is why. Like, I'm gonna stop saying things like, if you don't believe in energy, then don't, like, I don't care who the fuck I'm talking to, and I'm not here to convince anyone, but I'm just gonna start saying it like that. Like, the collective energy of the world across pretty much every single front of existence right now is like a lot. It's a lot. It's very hectic. So take care of yourselves, be compassionate, and just do what you can. Get through, rest, all the things, warm foods, nourishing foods, etc. Now, 5-6 minutes later, let's get into this episode, because it's going to be a really good conversation related to a lot of what I just said, honestly, about this sense of urgency and not actually honoring the season of life that you are currently in. Because like I said, with nature, Mother Nature, the earth, everything runs in seasons. Think about your life. We are not designed to be operating like machines, doing the same thing every single week of the year, every single day of the week, 24/7, 365. We're not meant to be running like robots. We are not robots. We are very disconnected from the natural attunement to our cyclical nature. Whether you are a man or a woman, whatever, like, doesn't matter. We are meant to run in seasons, and every single part of life, similar to nature, has seasons. You have seasons of life that are way busier. You have seasons that are way more calm and chill. You have growth seasons. You have building seasons. You have reflection seasons. Like, there's a season of life to everything. And seasons of life can even just be the span of like days to a week or months or years, whatever it may be. But we do not honor and appreciate our seasons of life enough. And I feel like an incredible amount of resistance is created when we try to push against our current season of life, when we don't acknowledge the capacity that we have based on what season of life we are actually in, and like our conditions, externally, internally, things we're going through, things we have to take care of, whatever it may be. When we don't take those things into account and expect ourselves to just run the same all year long, obviously we're going to burn out, we're going to feel like crap, we're going to feel confused about what we're doing, and then you're just going to feel more overwhelmed trying to force yourself to fit into this mold that actually isn't what's best for you, depending on the season of life you're going through. Again, based on how busy you are, how much you have on your plate, your health, your commitments, your priorities, what's going on at work, what's going on at personal, if you have a family, kids, spouse, whatever. We all have different seasons of life that we are moving through constantly. And I truly feel that we are most aligned with our most authentic, organic, natural way of being when we respect and honor those seasons and act accordingly with an understanding of what our capacity actually is in each season of life that we are moving through. So I'm going to expand on that a little more moving forward into the podcast, but I really hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into it. Welcome to the Oreaganic podcast. I'm your host, Reagan, mechanical engineer, lifelong athlete, and recovered overachiever, here to empower you to pursue your highest potential and live freely as your happiest, most organic self. Every week, we'll dive into topics ranging from personal growth, mindset hacks, psychology, and a blend of science and spirituality to give you all the tools you need to stop living on autopilot and start creating a life of freedom, meaning, and fulfillment as your most organic self. If you're ready to become the best version of yourself, then let's plant those seeds and grow. So what even is a season of life? A season of life is exactly what it sounds like, in that it is the current circumstances that you are moving through, the things that affect how much capacity you have to maintain a stable, emotional, regulated sense of being, and to be able to balance things in your life. Some seasons are way busier than others, obviously. Sometimes we have way more on our plate. Sometimes we have way less on our plate. Sometimes we're feeling really worn down. Sometimes we're feeling energized. You get the picture. Your season of life is just a reflection of how much capacity you have to manage everything that's going on based on how many things you have on your plate. So now that we got that out of the way, it is so important that we take time for reflection and understanding what season of life we are in before we put expectations on ourselves that are not appropriate for the season of life that we are in. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you have been traveling every weekend for the past, 3-4 weeks, a month. You've been traveling every weekend. You've been working like normal during the week. You have been doing a lot. You don't have too much time at night. You have obligations to get to, or someone else to take care of, or a family to tend to, and you really don't feel like you have that much time for yourself. Your season of life is one that is very busy. Your capacity is probably pretty low because your plate is very full. So if you were to expect yourself to be doing a 40-minute workout 5 days a week, getting to bed at 9 p.m., cooking a 5-course meal every single night for dinner, waking up at the ass crack of dawn, doing 20 pages of journaling, like all of these things, if you're expecting yourself to do all of that stuff when you are also extremely limited in your capacity based on your schedule and your current life circumstances, you are being unreasonable and you are setting yourself up for failure. Because when you actually take a step back and analyze what season of life you are in, you realize, wow, it's not actually fair of myself to expect me to be doing so much on top of already having so much on my plate. But yet, our world is designed to accommodate to people who are always working, always grinding, this atmosphere of constantly being in the hustle mode. And when we are constantly in the hustle mode, it's very easy to get swept up into that wave and to feel like you just have to always be doing something or doing more and you're not doing enough, etc. But when you take a step back and realize that you actually have permission to be realistic with what you can currently handle right now in the season of life you are in, you end up actually working with the energy of the current flow of your life rather than trying to force yourself to fit into a mold that you are never meant to fit into, especially not in the current season of life that you are in. So this can work the other way, where if you are in a less busy season of life, you have more time on your plate, maybe you are expecting yourself to be doing the 40-minute workouts or working out every day or whatever things you may see as productive, fitting into your schedule, things that you want to do to feel successful. You have time to do that when you are less busy. But again, when you don't take the time to take a step back and reflect on what you're actually going through right now, how much you can actually handle, and being realistic with yourself based on what you know about yourself and how much you know you can handle, if you don't do that, you can so easily just get caught in the hamster wheel of life and feel like you are doing something wrong and then wondering why things feel so out of place or you feel like you're forcing your energy so much. It's because you're not meant to be doing so much right now. Or maybe you actually have the space to be doing more, whatever it is for you. But if you don't zoom out of the bigger picture to the phase of your life that you're currently in, then we miss out on these opportunities to really embrace each season and naturally work with the energy that's already at play. And I want to speak to the seasons of life that are deemed as bad or just rough, or when things are just feeling like everything is crumbling and falling apart. Obviously, your capacity is limited in these seasons, but there is value in the lows of life. There's value in going through hardships and struggles and rough seasons. I mean, everyone knows, I know this is cliche, I know I'm telling you guys things that you already know, but everyone knows that there are highs and lows to life. But yet, when you are in the middle of the low periods, for me at least, it feels like I'm the only one sometimes. Or you just feel so isolated, you feel like something's wrong with you. Like, what good is supposed to come out of me feeling this shitty about myself and my life and questioning everything? Like, what is the point of that? And I just want to remind you guys, the benefit of feeling negative, of feeling like crap, is one, it gives you an opportunity to be able to let yourself just feel what you are going through without this pressure to change it, without pressure to fix it, to understand, to know, to be logical about it. When you're going through a rough season of your life, the best thing you can do for yourself, the absolute best thing you can do for yourself is just allow yourself to feel. to go through it, to accept that you feel like shit right now. Things are not feeling good. And you know what? You don't need to feel like you're doing something wrong for that or shame yourself for it. The most important thing when you're going through rough seasons is to have self-compassion and understand that in every rough season of life, when things are feeling busy, when you're feeling stressed out, if you're feeling like shit, if you're feeling, quote unquote negative emotions, as annoying as this may sound, it is there to teach you something, and it is not permanent. Every single thing. Best phrase you can tell yourself, this too shall pass. This too shall pass, because it always does. But when we are going through negative seasons, that is what allows us to kind of reflect, step back, be really compassionate towards ourselves, and later on, maybe after moving through this phase, zoom out to the wider picture and understand, oh, that season of my life, like, you know what? I'm kind of glad that everything felt so shaken up during that time, or I felt so confused because something better was coming, or this thing that I thought was bad at the time had to happen in order for me to actually end up in this situation, which turned out really well. This has happened to me a few times on a much smaller scale compared to like a rough season of life per se, but I think back to when I was between jobs, which I genuinely was. After graduating from college, if you haven't heard any part of my story, I'll give you a quick debrief. After graduating from college with a mechanical engineering degree, I had the plan to work an internship in mechanical engineering and go to grad school to do research, studying mechanical engineering, with the professor, get the tuition paid, do whatever, blah, blah, blah. I very quickly realized and also knew I did not really want to do the mechanical engineering master's, because I did ME, mechanical engineering, because it fit into a very general mold of just a technical background and like the most universal kind of engineering that I could fit into, and allowed me to have the degree that would let me work in multiple fields if I chose to, which I did. And I wasn't exactly flourishing with passion over thermodynamics or fluid dynamics or things like that, but I was interested in STEM and science. I was mostly interested in like astrophysics. I have an astrophysics minor. I like the space stuff, but again, I was not overly enthralled with mechanical engineering to the point where I was like, yes, let me go do a grad school year and research this for like a year or 2 years in my life. Like nothing else I'd rather do. Quite the opposite. I was like, I don't even know why I really am doing this master's. I don't really there's not really this crazy motivation behind it. It just feels like a should. And on top of that, the job that I worked was very unfulfilling. It was a work format that I have always known for my entire life was never going to work for me. I am never going to thrive in a cubicle farm. I'm never going to thrive in a cubicle farm with artificial lighting, being forced to sit inside for 40 hours a week, doing work that I know is not actually making that big of a difference in the world. You will never find me doing that, because I did for that entire summer. My soul was literally sucked from my body every time I stepped foot into that building. Had nothing to do with the company, just the work format, not for me. And this is what caused the start of that season of life that I'm talking about, the being in between jobs, because at the end of that summer, I completely aborted ship on the plan that I had to go to grad school, and I decided to take at least 6 weeks off of work to take a break, and deferred grad school to the next year. I had my acceptance, but I deferred it, and I said, you know what, I'll just work like an extended internship until grad school next fall at the same place, and it's going to be fine, whatever. I just need 6 weeks off because I need time to decompress after school, because after graduating, I didn't have much of a break at all. So gave myself 6 weeks minimum, talked to the company, okay, great. In those 6 weeks, very quickly decided the absolute last thing that I want to be doing right now is going back to that job. I know how absolutely miserable I was in that work setting, in that work environment, and I just could not do it. I could not do it. I literally could not do it. And I always wanted to kind of pivot fields into environmental work, but I didn't really know how to do that. It was kind of scary to think about. I mean, my degree was in mechanical engineering, which is absolutely valuable in other fields like the environmental field, but what mechanical engineer is applying to environmental consulting companies? or like any environmental spaces. Like why would I be doing that? I mean, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm not a civil or environmental. Like this isn't exactly my field. And I was very stressed about fitting into the mold of what everyone else expected of me, what was deemed as successful, to be having a stable job and using my degree and blah, 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 blah. But at the time, I just knew. I knew enough and I trusted myself enough to say that, like, I don't want to do that same job again. And I can't do it. I can't do it. If there's any time for me to pivot, it is now. And that is what turned into my #unemployment era because the 6 weeks turned into 12 weeks. I took 3 months off of work before I found what is literally like such an aligned dream job that I absolutely love and currently still have right now. But during those 3 months, like that was a season of life where I felt very confused. I felt so like lost, vulnerable, like everything. I don't know. It was rough. It was rough, particularly the second half of those 3 months, like the 6 weeks after my original 6 weeks, because I was applying to jobs. I thought the very first job that I applied to was like the perfect one for me, exactly what I would want. I heard back from them within literally a day of applying, and it was the first job I applied to. Like, I was so happy about this place, and for reasons not to the fault of their own, just because they were so short-staffed, they ended up taking, I think, literally a month and a half to get back to me and give me an answer, which ended up being a yes. And in between all of this time, I was worrying, I was questioning, I was like, why isn't this working out? Like, this is stressing me out so much. I just want to get a job. I don't want to be unemployed forever. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? What's wrong with my life? And it was a rough season of life in that way, in the professional sense, in the sense of like my own self-image of what success was, quote unquote, supposed to be and what I was supposed to be doing and everything. And yet, what actually ended up happening is the company that I currently work at, I followed up with them after sending an application along with other companies. They got back to me within a day of my follow-up, scheduled the first round, phone call interview within a couple days, which then led to another interview, which then led to the final interview, which then led to a job offer. I want to say literally like not even a week later. No, literally like a day later after my final interview. And that is a company I currently work at that has so many upsides to it in literally every single front, and is such a good fit for me, like beyond what I could have dreamed of. I'm not exaggerating, like beyond my wildest dreams for what I could have wanted for a job and this kind of work. It literally still blows my mind. Like every single day, I'm genuinely so grateful still. And mind you, this is the job I currently have. The job that I thought was the one that I wanted, the one that I had in my head as like the perfect one, the one that I should get, the one that everything would work out. They ended up giving me an offer 1 day after my current company gave me an offer. And after that, this is probably the best example where I say things that don't work out for you are always happening for a reason. And I am so glad that they took so long to get back to me and that it didn't end up working out. Even though that entire time I had this thought of like, this is what I should be doing. This is the right thing. This looks like the perfect option, blah, blah, blah. Don't care. If that worked out for me and I didn't have that kind of period of suffering and questioning and worrying and waiting, I would never have the job that I have right now. I would not be so completely blessed with where I work and the satisfaction I have and like the genuine love that I have for what I work on and the people I work with and everything. I wouldn't have ever experienced that if I didn't go through that really shitty time, honestly, of the waiting and the questioning and just like upheaving my entire sense of stability in my life. If I didn't go through that, I never would have gotten such a good job where I'm at right now. And that is a perfect example of how negative, quote unquote, negative seasons are going through rough patches or going through things where nothing feels like it's working out. I promise you, it actually is working out. And a lot of the times, it's really hard to hear that when you're in the moment. And I knew that when I was going through that time. I knew, everything happens in perfect timing. Everything's working out for me, blah, blah, blah. But when you're in the middle of it, it doesn't fucking feel like it. Didn't feel like it when I was waiting weeks and weeks to hear back from what I thought was like my dream job. Did not feel like everything was rainbows and butterflies and in divine timing working out. But at the same time, it was. I just had to be patient. And that season of life was one that was necessary for me to go through in order to get where I was meant to go. And I know that there are absolutely different circumstances that are way more difficult than just waiting to hear back from a job. But everyone has their own experience of life. And when you go through any kind of transition or deviation from what you are used to, you are entitled to feel however you feel. Like, there's no comparison of who has it worse than someone else, or you shouldn't feel that way because other people have it worse, whatever, blah, 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 blah. That's bullshit. Every single one of us human beings is entitled to feel exactly how we feel without any restrictions or limitations or judgment of ourselves. That is called the human experience, and that is called self-compassion. And this is why negative emotions, negative feelings, seasons of life that feel rough, they can be so transformative, and they are essential for us. Because as shitty as things may sometimes feel, I was feeling like absolute crap like 2 days ago. And as crappy as I was feeling, I'm still glad to be able to experience both the highs and lows of life. Because the full spectrum that we experience life is what really brings us this sense of enrichment to having the full human experience. And that's not to say that like bad times don't suck, they do. But just a wider perspective of understanding how they might actually be serving you in the long run is something that has allowed me to feel and see through my own eyes and my own life, my own experiences, just how true and powerful that is. So if there's one piece of advice I want to leave you with, it is to actually reflect on the season of life you're going through. How much is on your plate right now? What is your capacity? How much do you actually have in you to handle however much is going on? And what are the resources that you have? Because our energy is not infinite. Your energy is only goes so far, especially when you have a lot on your plate. And reflecting on how much you have going on is really what allows you to have freedom and give yourself the self-compassion that you need to move through these seasons with more ease and flow and grace, by just accepting the fact that you're human, things are busy, there's a lot going on. Give yourself that permission slip to be compassionate towards yourself and allow yourself to have the human experience, which is not always a bunch of highs and riding the wave of life that is just rainbows, butterflies, unicorns, everything working out perfectly, blah, blah, blah. That's not what life is. Like, I feel like some of you could really benefit from this reminder, because I know that I can. Life is not meant to be easy all the time. We go through times where we feel like absolute crap, and there's nothing wrong with you for that. There's nothing wrong with you for being in a random season, a random funk of just like, what is going on? What the frick is happening? Like, everything is just crazy right now. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel lost. I feel depressed. I feel confused. There is nothing wrong with you. You are just a human being. We are human beings. We are made to feel. We are made to have different experiences. We are made to have the experience of the entire spectrum of emotions in our life. It is what gives our lives color. It's what gives emotion and like energy to all of our experiences. And without that, what really is the point of being a human, being alive, if we're not actually getting to experience life to the absolute fullest? Like, that's the goal, right? So try not to be so hard on yourself when you are going through a period of just feeling really shitty, because we all go through it. We all do. I promise you, every single person has. We all experience the highs and lows of life. And when you're in the lows, it can really feel like it's just you sometimes. That something's wrong with you, that you are alone, that something must not be right. You must be doing something wrong. None of that is true. None of it is true. Just because you are not in the same room as other people experiencing the same emotion does not mean that those other people don't exist. I promise you. Think about how many people are in this world. I guarantee you there are plenty of people who feel the same kind of ways, are going through the same kind of struggles, and have the same thoughts and experiences of like, damn, am I really the only one? What's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. I say this with literally so much love. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Absolutely nothing. You are just a human being. And when you give yourself the permission to accept that, to ride the wave of your emotions, to go with the flow of your current season of life, you will find that things move a lot easier. You kind of break through things a lot quicker. You move through things so much more naturally because you're actually in tune and aligned with the wave of life that you are currently riding, which is always going to change. And if you've been feeling crappy for a while, just know, like, the sun will rise. This too shall pass. Things will change. It's not going to be like this forever. I promise you it's not. And if you just remember that going through, especially the more difficult seasons of life, I guarantee you, like, things will feel so much more peaceful, even if it just means allowing yourself to just feel and taking care of yourself, eating warm foods, like having warm drinks, just being nourishing towards yourself. That is the medicine that you need when you're going through a shitty time or just feeling really lost, scared, confused, overwhelmed, etc. So I'm sending you guys so much of my love. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please go take care of yourselves. Show yourselves some extra love. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your neighbors. Check in with your friends. Be kind to yourselves. Appreciate the season of life that you're in. And go be your most organic selves. And I will see you next week.